So what is like, because I've never been a part like of an actual ceremony or anything traditionally with drinking ava before. So like, what is? I guess if you want to explain what's going on here.
Yeah. Well, it's tough to say it's traditional because, I'm wearing a jacket I bought. I'm wearing some shorts that I bought, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're nothing traditional about, this, but so that's a larger topic, I guess. That's like, we as Kanaka, we all are picking and choosing which parts of the culture we want to remain alive. And so when it comes to ceremony, what's interesting is that there are many people that will say that they received, this is the exact ceremony that was passed down from generation to generation to generation. I don't know if that's true. What I believe happened is that we lost the knowledge of this ceremony altogether, or at least in pieces, and then amazing kupuna and scholars, maybe in the 50s, maybe the 60s for sure, and then into the 70s, started finding these documents that left trails of how to do this ceremony. And they're taking these pieces. It's like someone took this beautiful mosaic glass art piece and they shattered it on the ground. And now we're like, oh, look at this beautiful piece of colored glass, and we put it here. And oh, look at this beautiful piece of colored glass. And we're trying to put the mosaic back together, but we still probably have pieces. And so we were talking about it last night, actually, when we were hosting the hui from Aotearoa. We were drinking ava and talking about how we as Kanaka cannot be critical of how other people do their ceremony. When I go to Oahu, they do a different ceremony, and this is not even the ceremony we did last night. It was a lot more, I guess you would call, formal. This is more of a noa, right? We've already released a couple, and so it's of a noa. But yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're just leisurely enjoying ava. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ceremony is done as you're making the ava. As you take that first apu and you hanai it, as you take care of the oka, the dregs. But I guess this entire thing could be a ceremony because we're gathered together. There was protocol involved, and so yeah. But one thing I want to just make sure everyone knows as we go around is that we're all picking up the pieces. So I've learned from multiple kupuna, and what's interesting is that when I'm with like the kupuna from Maui, I have to do it the way that they do it. Otherwise, like I've learned the hard way, especially on Maui. I've been, like the old school, like just a quick whack on the head when you break a protocol in ceremony. You learn quick when you get whacked on the head from a kupuna. And when we go Kauai, they have a whole different protocol. We go Oahu, even different parts of Oahu have different protocols, and the ceremony looks different everywhere. But this is part of the recipe, right? Like, so what me and my good hoa always talk about is that it is important for people's first exposure to ava to have it be in the right way. So we use the recipe analogy, like what is something super ono that your mom makes that you just like love?
Korean chicken.
Do you know anything that's super ono that your grandma made?
No.
Did your mom make that recipe, or did she inherit that?
She made that recipe.
Okay, so if you took your mom's Korean chicken, give me 3 main ingredients other than the chicken that are in that, or just do you even know 2 ingredients?
Yeah, shoyu.
Okay.
Brown sugar, and is that it?
Well, stop there.
The stuff to fry it. I don't know what's that's called.
Okay.
Flour.
Panko flakes?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like fried chicken. It's like whatever.
Oh, okay.
Flour,
so that batter. Okay,
yeah.
so we'll leave the batter aside. We'll take the shoyu and the sugar. Okay. So if you wanted to make your mom's chicken, and you replace the shoyu with something else, oyster sauce or fish sauce or whatever else you want to do, and you replace the sugar, was it brown sugar, with white sugar? Would that be the same? Would that be your mom's recipe? Would that be your mom's chicken?
No, it'd be different.
Yeah, that would be different. So what we're saying as an ava-hui is that if you take one of these pieces out of this recipe, so if you're not sitting on the moina, right? If you're not drinking out of an apu or an olo, if you're not drinking out of a kanoa, if you're not drinking around people, is that an ava ceremony? And the answer to that is no. You could call it a lot of other things, but it wouldn't be ava anymore. It'd be something else. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that people's first exposure is in a setting like this, and not per se at like an ava bar, where, we won't talk about all the issues of ava bar, but or in that setting, or in a setting where they're consuming ava byproducts and ava tinctures and things that are laced, with alcohol that extract the wrong things from ava. Those are super detrimental to your body. People don't realize it, but the science is there, how terrible it is. And that's not the recipe, right? This is the recipe. And so other things we can add to this recipe to make it more ono, yeah, there are, right? We could be in a malo, we could be wearing kihei, we could be constantly oling throughout this entire, this entire gathering right now. But these are the key components to the recipe, and that's why it was important that we sit on the ground and share some ava. So now that the cup was released, do you want to have an apple?
Yeah. What is the salt for?
Multiple things, like the la'i and the salt are for they're like cleansers, right? They help to keep this place not in a state of kapu because the kapu's been released, but keep this place pure. And yeah, sometimes you can use olan. Now there's a bunch of things you can use as that. So
okay, so when you do serve it, is there a protocol or a order of who drinks it, or do I need to wait until everyone is served before I drink it?
So no, I mean, anciently there was. Typically, from what we've studied and learned from kupuna, is that the first person served is akua, right? You're gonna go serve your ahu or your pohaku or your tree, whatever you want to give the ava to. The second apu goes to the person on my left if I'm the server, and that's typically, I don't want to say the least prominent person, but the lowest ranking, or sometimes you just put the youngest person there, and then it goes all the way to the highest ranking ali'i, or in this case, like the kupuna that you has the most wisdom, whatever you might want to say, is on my right hand side, and that's served last. And the reason why is because the last apu, so other cultures, the highest ranking is served first, and they sit right across from you. But in this, in Hawaii, we highest rankings on this side because they get the last apu. The last apu is the most potent apu. So when we start, we typically go take a pinch and we throw it over our shoulder, and that's acknowledging our kupuna, our kua, everything that comes before us. And so you would say kiaka ka o ko. This one comes out of Titkum, and Pukui talked about it too. And then you would take one pinch and you would throw it right between your malo, right onto the moina, and you would say kiaka ka o ko ka I ono mako. So like the aka, or the essence of the ava, is for you, all those that have come before. But the I, or the substance, the ono, this actual cup is for me, or for us. And then often we say like "Eyi kavaya kane," here's the waters of Kane, and then we would inu from there. But that's just like after the it's avanoa. Yeah, come on. Ava to me, the actual literal essence of the word means bitter, right? So ava is like that bitter. It could be tart or sour, not quite sour, but more like tart. But typically when you say ava, it's bitter. And what's interesting, and maybe the reason why people are adulterating the ava right now by mixing it with other things like pog and I mean ava chocolate and all these other things, they're trying to make it more palatable. But anciently, bitter was a desired flavor. Yeah, not even anciently, like pretty recently even. But our palates have changed so much since then to like the sweet, and the bitter is like super off-putting to people, and so that's why they're trying to cut it. But yeah, ava means bitter, but there's beauty in the bitterness, right? Like my kumu that I learned from in La'au Lapa'au always said that the healing is in the heat and the bitterness. So like when we're taking La'au, we always add like real spicy things to it, and when we're taking when we're taking La'au, we typically have all the plants that heal you are really bitter. And so he's saying embrace that, enjoy it. That's where the healing is coming from. So same with the ava, it's a La'au, right? It's a medicine, and the heat, I mean the bitterness, is what is actually healing you. So ava's super medicinal. You can research all the benefits of it, but ava to me is exactly that. Like it's really healing. It heals me in multiple ways. First and foremost, the thing that I always tell everyone that is internalized in me is the more that we can consume these ancestral roots. So this, kalo, which is not really a root, but yeah, similar. Things that are below the ground. Uala, right? All of these things, olena. The more that we can consume these roots, the more rooted we become. And so ava keeps me rooted. It keeps me remembering who I am. It connects me to my kupuna. It connects me to my future generations. Right? My kids were the servers last night in our ceremony, and so it keeps me rooted. But more importantly, it's very healing in terms of all the other aspects of your life. So ava we use to treat insomnia, ADHD. We use it to treat any kind of a mental illness. We use it to treat PTSD. There's an amazing. They're telling us about in Aotearoa last night that this research doing in Aotearoa from Waikato University about ava curing PTSD in like army vets and things like that. But more importantly, we use it to connect. It's one of these things that allows us to be connected to each other. And the more that we can consume these roots and drink ava with each other, whether we want to call it ava therapy, or there's a bunch of things you could call it modernly, it's essentially what it's functioning as. And you can use it to counsel, right, to decide big things. We use it in the workplace when we're going to decide what we're going to plant next and things like that. But the more that we can do that, and the more that we can be deeply rooted with each other, when trials and issues come our way, we call it the makani or the winds, it's not going to affect us because we're deeply rooted, right? So,
that makes sense. Because like even when a lot of times when we go drink ava, with running the company and doing everything that's in a day-to-day basis, by the next day actually I feel like so at ease.
yeah.
Like I can actually think very clearly.
Yeah.
So that's why like I kind of took a page out of your book. So like if we drink ava Wednesday, Thursday, I'm actually doing office work the whole time.
Yeah.
I come in here and I actually just like I'll put on a podcast or whatever,
Yeah.
and I jam, and I realize like I get so much more done
Yeah.
because I'm not thinking of a million things at once.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like I'm like, oh okay, I gotta do this. Okay, no problem, and I do it.
Yeah.
And it definitely helps my body with all the years of training and all the injuries I have. Well, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Some of the best properties of ava is that in your what it's not doing internally is it's an anti-inflammatory, so it's helping all of your joints, all of your inflammation in anywhere in your body. It's a blood circulatory, so it's bringing the blood quicker to where it needs to be to heal whatever the injury or even if just no everyday stress, it heals it quicker. But it's also anti-spasmodic, so it helps you to heal from the day. There's a bunch of these things, right? We haven't even gotten to the anti-cancer side, which is amazing for us. So yeah, it's all of that. And one thing you said that stood out to me was clarity. What we try to do as a hui, as all of our people who drink ava, is we try to go and dispel the myths of ava. And which started with the early record keepers, right? George Vancouver, Captain Cook, John Mears. They were all writing in their journal, and they were talking about ava, but they didn't know what to relate it to because they have nothing in their worldview that relates to this, except for one thing, and that was alcohol. And so all of the early documents talk about people being drunken with ava, right? They're using the same terminology for alcohol as they are for ava. And that's a problem. What it did is create a bad reputation for ava across the Pai'aina, to the point where today people still associate ava with alcohol, especially in religious circles, and people who don't understand ava, they relate it to that. And so the difference is that alcohol is a numbing, I would even say a blurring kind of a beverage for you that does terrible things. When people have issues, they drink alcohol, they wake up in the morning and their issues are still there. Maybe they're worse because they just spent $200 at the bar.
Yeah.
But when you drink ava, you wake up in the morning, you have clarity. Matter of fact, after your third, fourth up, you're getting clarity, right? You're starting to think of a situation and you're like, actually, maybe it's not that bad. And you gain a new perspective on it. And the difference is you wake up in the morning, you feel good, ready to go back to work, but you maintain that positive perspective on the issue. So clarity is a good one. Yeah.
No, it's fun. So sometimes when we go drink ava Wednesday nights,
Yeah.
One of my main hobbies that I love is people watching. I love to watch people.
Yeah.
Because I travel so much for work too, and I'm always everywhere. I love to sit in the airport and just watch.
It's not kind of stockish of you.
Oh, it's 100%.
Put your shades on and you're
Yeah,
looking at everybody.
No, because I always think like, luckily, I I really pay attention to make sure that I am aware of my surroundings. Like it's not just about me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always looking around like, oh, I wonder what that guy's going through. I wonder what that person's
Yeah.
going through. And not even going through like, oh, I wonder like, you never know. Like I'll see like an old couple like, oh, I wonder like how their life was getting to this point. So a lot of times when I'm actually sitting with you guys drinking, you guys are talking, and I'm sitting down listening, it's pretty cool because I can actually listen to the entire conversation and actually listen to it. Because like a lot of times, the way my mind works, it sucks. Like I could be having a conversation with you and I'm thinking of 4 different things. But when we're drinking alva and actually talking, I can actually listen to it, right? And so like I really appreciate the fact that I can, because like everybody else, I'm not the only one that goes through this. Like I'm not, so like even you know what I'm talking about. Like so to be able to do that is I mean, it's really good. It's really good because
So you want to know a secret? That feeling that you have, that clarity that comes, that being able to focus on one thing, actually comes with any of our ancestral practices. You could be out in the water surfing, and that's what's happening, right? You're thinking about nothing but that. The beauty of the mountains, right? As you're looking back towards the shore, you're looking for the next set that's coming through. That's even if you have a conversation with someone in the kai, in the ocean, you're focusing on that one thing. You're not necessarily thinking about the 8 million things you have to do when you come back to land. It's kind of a sacred space in that realm, right? But same with hula. Once second you enter your halau, it's that one thing. Everything else disappears. You leave it away. When you hop on a va'a, they say never hop on a va'a if you have issues that you have to resolve on the aina. You have to resolve all of the things going on at home so you can fully be present on the va'a. Because if you're on the va'a and you're thinking of home, that's a really dangerous place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that goes with everything. When I'm in the mala or the mahina ai, sorry, is a better term, and I'm with my kalo, I'm with haloa. That's all that exists. That's all that exists. I'm not worried about the things of the world. I'm not worried about what happens when I leave. I'm just present in the space, and that's what's beautiful about any of our practices. When people go holo holo, yeah, they throw net, throw pole, whatever it might be. All of these ancestral practices bring that to us, which is why people that practice these things tend to be a lot healthier, physically, mentally, emotionally, is because that's going on with all of the 5 things you're thinking about. That's not real life.
Mm-hmm.
That is not real life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fabricated life that we're living in, that really is made to just rip you apart and destroy you. You know, it's necessary to a degree, right? It's necessary, but yeah, I think real life is out. You know?
I never noticed that until, because I'm now starting to think like, oh, when I'm surfing, that's actually what's going on. Like I'm not thinking of I'm enjoying being. When I surf, I just love being in the water.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't care how big, small, or big the surf is. Of course, if it's good surf, then you enjoy it even more. But like it gets to that point where like, I'm just excited to be out here. Like and even when I was paddling in high school, I'm thinking about it like. Wow, when I was paddling, I wasn't thinking of like how tired I was. I mean, of course you're a little bit tired, but like you're just there. Like you're not, so I never noticed that stuff. A long time ago, I don't know if you remember, we had this conversation. We were in the culture hall, and I asked you, how do you do it? Like, how do you balance everything in church and everything like that? And you do you remember having that conversation?
No.
And you told me a line that I actually think about this daily, because I have to, because like you said, everything's fabricated, right? The 3 or 4 things, because I have to remind myself. And so you literally, all you said was, why are we here? Like, why are we here? So I was like, oh, that's like, so now, like when everything's going on, especially with my kids, I'm like, why am I here? Why are we here? Then I know, okay, this is why I'm here. And then that's what I do. And so like, it comes with the clarity of like you said, like when you say something that like you don't even remember having that conversation.
Yeah.
But I do, right?
Yeah.
And so because of practicing things like that and having that clarity, it definitely makes a huge difference in that aspect of life, I guess. You know, because we were having, me and my oldest Tristan were kind of battling it out the other day, and you know, after it's one of those things, like, you start thinking of everything after the fact, right? Especially when you lose your temper. Like, I lost my temper, and I apologize for losing my temper, but I didn't apologize of like the issue of why I got mad. But anyway, so, you know, first I thought to myself, why are we here? I reminded myself, why am I here? And I was sitting there kind of quiet, and I don't know who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody earlier that day, as a customer of mine, and he's older. And he asked me, he said, at the end of life, like, what do you want out of life? And so, you know, everyone says like the normal stuff. And I the number one thing that I thought about was like, what I want was, like, was I a good father? Was I a good husband? Like, you know, was I a child of God? Like, that's like, was I good to in the community? Right? And so with practicing stuff like that, you can actually concentrate on those, because like, bro, sometimes when we stay up late Wednesday night and I'm waking up getting the kids ready, it's very calm. Like,
it's passing midnight and you're asking yourself, why am I here?
Exactly. So that's why
in a different context.
Yeah, every once in a while I'm like, okay, I gotta go, guys, and then I go home. But like, when I wake up, it's like, it's very calm. Like, okay, guys, let's get ready. And you know, so luckily they know, you know, everything on that kind of spectrum, I guess. But
I think our people, our men, our women, I think everybody could benefit from having Ava in their life, because it is one of the ancestral things that as soon as it touches your lips and it goes within you, you feel that connection to your kupuna. But more importantly, we need to be able to, so there are people that I know, and not to talk bad about them, but they'll take a pill for everything on the spectrum, right? They'll take a pill for their anxiety, they'll take a pill for their depression, they'll take a pill for their insomnia, they'll take a pill for their inflammation. They're taking all of these pharmaceutical drugs. In my opinion, terrible for you. This can solve all of that.
Yeah.
And so and then in addition to that, right, there's a lot of people that we know that are self-medicating with alcohol, which is, you know, I hate to say it, but it's probably the most haole thing you can do. I remember when I was growing up, I used to think, wow, the epitome, right, the apex of being Hawaiian is sitting with a green bottle on the beach, right, maybe body surfing, coming back out, grab the green bottle on the cooler. Like, that was what it meant to be Hawaiian to me. And that could not have been that's like the most haole thing you could do, because alcohol,
that's what they want you to think.
Yeah. And so when we're doing this, what's beautiful about this is that we can wake up the next morning and be back pulling weeds in the farm, and not having to be a slave to the hangover or be a slave to the alcohol. It'll improve everyone's life, right? You can drink Ava and say, you know what, like when I drink Ava at home, I'll just say, hey, come, tell the kids, come, we go do a puzzle, right? Or come, I'll go read you a book. Yeah. If I was intoxicated, that would not happen. I guarantee it. Right? It might be the complete opposite, right? Sometimes, so there's an old Olelo no Eo, old in terms of like post-contact, but still. And it says, he kanaka kamea inu ava, he po alaho kamea inu koipa. So the person, or the kanaka, who drinks ava remains a good person, right? Or a person in general. But the person that consumes kuwaipa, which is the transliterated word for swipe or alcohol, any alcohol, becomes a pua'a laho. So pua'a is the term for pig, and laho is one of the private parts of the pig. And so, more importantly though, it's also a form that Kamapua'a takes when he's in this, like, he's not thinking straight, and all he's doing is he's literally, like, we call it on the prowl, right? Like, he's hunting after wahine in a really negative way. And I think you and I have both seen men act like pua'alaho at a bar or at a club or just at the beach drinking with the boys back in the day, and that's a very, very terrible place to be. So our kupuna no, don't drink the alcohol.
We never listen.
Never listen. Yeah.
You know, luckily it's not too late, right?
No.
And yeah, because I'm not blood-wise, I'm not Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any Hawaiian ancestry, but all my brothers and sisters are Hawaiian. Like my cousins are all Hawaiian, so I was raised around Hawaiians. Like so,
Yeah.
so I understand, I guess, to a certain aspect.
Hawaiian's an interesting term, bro.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was just saying that. It felt kind of awkward because I'm like, I don't know, because like we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
On how it is, because there's people out there that will actually use the term like,
you ready?
Yeah,
Okay.
that will use the term like very loosely,
Yeah.
and it's not like their fault. It's just because they're like, I don't want to say uneducated. They're like me. Like I didn't know. Like until I moved here to the Big Island, like I didn't really know. And so if I didn't move here to the Big Island, if I didn't meet you, the right people, like I wouldn't have appreciated life as much as I do now.
Yeah.
And so when they talk about being like Hawaiian and stuff like that, and working the land and all that stuff, like, see, like people on Oahu, like I don't want to say they don't know, but bruh, like it's different when they live in a place like here and they actually live it. It's different when you actually live it, rather than say it just to get clout or say it to seem like they know, you know what I mean? And so I have a lot of really good friends that do a lot of practices. I have a really good friend, Kamea. He practices the tattooing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Waianae, and he would actually tell me like part of the, I guess I don't want to say ceremony because I don't know, but they drink ava before they do it, and then they do like your ancestry and find out, and they, I guess you know more than that about me, but
I don't know too much about it. I was with someone last night who does that, who learned under some amazing kumu here in Hawaii, and actually I was a part of him getting one of his uhi kakao. And that was a pretty amazing process. I was just a stretcher, right? Like all I did was stretch his skin, and then at one point, you know. Anyway, he had some pretty. It was an amazing experience. But aside from that, I think that you were talking about. What were you talking about before that? Before the cacao?
The term being Hawaiian.
Yeah. Okay.
The term, I guess. I don't want to say term, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean Hawaiians is kind of a made up term. Like it's pretty modern. So the way that I saw it, I think it was brought on YouTube or something, and I love this definition, so I take it. There's at least 3 definitions to being Hawaiian that this guy could think of. One of them was Hawaiian is someone who has the ancestry, right? That's kind of the most common way.
Blood you're talking about.
You could say blood quantum, but more than that, I would say ancestry. Yeah, if you have a kupuna anywhere, you can trace back to Hawaiian. And interestingly, anciently, that you didn't have to be by blood. So you could be hanai into a Hawaiian family, and that made you blood. Yeah, like there are many instances where foreigners have come here, they are hanai by a family, take on the last name, take on the ancestry, and their blood, you know. So there's that aspect, right? There's ancestry. So it doesn't have to be by blood, but ancestry. And then there's another term, which is more of a political term, which is you were a subject to the Hawaiian Kingdom, right? So if you are loyal to the Hawaiian Kingdom, to the Hawaiian monarchy, you are Hawaiian. And then the third definition of that, of Hawaiian, can be things like morals, values, raised here, right? The Aina has raised you. That's like a third category to being Hawaiian. Because we know plenty of Hawaiians with ancestry that don't act, right? Like the ways that their kupuna taught them. And so now the most wholesome person to be in this place is at some point to become all 3 of these. You have ohana that hanai you, right? And that is part of your ancestry. And they are Hawaiian by ancestry. So therefore you're Hawaiian by ancestry because you have that same ancestry as them. But then we also have the values and morals and beliefs, and then we also have now what do you affiliate with politically, right? Are you a Hawaiian national today? Are you fighting for the kingdom, things like that. And so there's a bunch of different definitions of Hawaiian, probably more, but I heard those three and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because it's not explained often enough what that means. Now, what I'm not trying to do is justify people who aren't and shouldn't call themselves Hawaiian calling themselves Hawaiian. I'm just trying to say, use some of those as your guidelines as to whether or not. But again, to me, it doesn't matter whether I'm called Hawaiian or not. Like, I know who I am. I know my ancestry. I know all of my kupuna from all the different islands, and yeah, I don't try to prove my Hawaiianness in any way or form. And so, yeah, that's
What was the turning point for you that you realized all of this, or so you wanted to? I guess you wanted to learn all of this because at some point, like you said, you're young. You wasn't thinking about any
learning
of this.
culture.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or-
okay.
and then and then learning how important you actually are
Yeah.
as a person, right? Like, because at some point you thought like, okay, I'm gonna be a dad one
Yeah.
day, right? So
Yeah.
how do I be the best person I can, right, to be for the next generation,
Yeah.
and not only your kids but other people's kids, right? So like, what was, I guess,
Yeah.
the turning point for you?
Yeah, I would say that.
I shouldn't say turning point, but you know what
No,
I mean.
I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah.
So I would say waypoints. When you're in a va'a and you're trying to get to Kahiki or anywhere you're trying to go on a va'a, you're looking at waypoints. So there's a turn here, and there's subtle turns, like not even a degree sometimes of a turn, to be able to get to your desired destination. And sometimes you gotta go way off track to tack back and come back to your destination. And so I would say that it's a bunch of small adjustments and a bunch of like layer upon layer upon layer. There's not one aha moment that got me into thinking more about culture necessarily. Although, well, being a Hawaiian studies student, definitely I was part of the catalyst that created change. But before that, even when I was in Hawaiian studies, though, there was a lot that I was learning. I was like, oh yeah, we grew up with this,
Mhm.
And so part of it is just how we grew up. But in terms of the other side of it, with the kids and being ohana, I remember when I was a kid, we'd go to first birthday luau's or pa'inas, and all the kids would be playing. And my dad always thought like I was just a weird boy because I wouldn't be off with my friends playing. I'd be sitting next to the kupuna, not even talking to them. They don't always even acknowledge me, but I'm just listening, just sitting by the kupuna, eating by them, listening. And I always found myself attracted to the kupuna generation to this day, to this day.
Like an old soul, or the term what they say, old soul.
Yeah,
Right?
just ono for wisdom.
Yeah.
Ono for knowledge. Like I was so ono for all of that. And so I remember growing up, we had a lot of kupuna around us. I remember being in Hau'ula, and all of our neighbors were older. And so I would always go spend time with them. A lot of them were on hospice at one point. And I would always sit by their bed, and the question I would always ask them, I was like, what's your greatest blessing? What's your biggest regret? And every single time I talk to a kupuna, their greatest blessing is their family, their kids, especially their grandkids. Their biggest regret, not spending enough time with them. They gave their life to work, to a career, to some passion, and that's their biggest regret. You'll never get that back. And so learning that, I was like, wow, if that's the case, then yeah, forget everything else. What can I do, whether it's work, whether it's taking less money, whether it's saying no to certain invitations to do like, ku'ikalo events or, whatever it might be, educational events. What can I do to spend more time with my ohana? Because for a long period of time, I was flying to every island, doing workshops on every island, teaching about all this stuff, and mostly in the realm of halo and ava, and my kids are at home. So now, if I have to fly to an event, I say, hey, I'll come, but you gotta fly my ohana too, right? And if they cannot, and I just want to go because it's a super awesome event, or whatever it might be, I just fly them over with me. So trying to bring them to the things into the world that I'm already doing. Yeah, that's why I said last night my kids was serving the ava. They could have easily stayed home. It's a school night, but no, they came.
Core memory, they call that.
I think so. Yeah, I think those
Just
are core
small
memories.
things, like you said, the little
Yeah.
little adjustments. Because when Yeah, because when Tristan, I've kind of told you about this. The first what 7 6 7 years of Tristan's life, I wasn't around.
Yeah.
I was working because that's what I was told, right?
Yeah.
I was told to work
Go hustle.
and hustle and make somebody else rich, right?
Yeah.
That's you hear that term, but it's different when you actually look back. And to this day, that's just my biggest regret. Like I wish I never did it because I see such a huge difference between Tristan and my middle son. Because my middle son, I was around.
Yeah.
Because I finally I can't keep doing this. I gotta be around my kids, and like now it's just a constant battle now because they're kind of stuck in their ways, kind of a certain point. But just like me, like growing up, my dad wasn't in the picture, right?
Yeah.
And even though I was there, I wasn't in the picture. Like I was gone all the time. And so like he has the same thing of like put up a wall,
Yeah.
very defensive about things. People that grew up like that, as you know, it's tough to break,
Yeah.
right? And then so I'm hoping I've made a huge difference of trying to being around, I guess, but I hope it does make a difference for him because I don't want it to be too late for him to realize it,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The little adjustments here or there, but I mean, my oldest is 13, so I still got time.
Plenty of time.
I still get time.
And my thing is like, if you saw the pain in the kupuna's face that I saw when I would ask those questions, it is something it's a place I never want to be in. I never want to be on my deathbed and thinking, I wish I had more time with my kids. When I first married my wife, I told her, I was like, hey, I'm on this journey. I grow food. I said, we'll probably never be rich, ever. I said, I'll try to bring in money for our family, but we'll probably never be rich, but we will always be happy. I said, is that enough? She's like, that's more than enough. And to this day, that has all come true. But, but then you want to say, well, what is rich, right? What is true wealth? It's not the amount of numbers you see in a digital bank account or the amount of, fiat currency that you can stack and keep at home. It is, in Hawaii, the term is vai vai, right? Wealth is the amount of vai that you have flowing, right? If you're in an area where there was just, vailele, waterfalls and these kahawai and full of water, you were vai vai, you were wealthy. And to me, the modern vai vai, although we have a lot of vai, is all of these things. Like we have food, we have an ohana, we have a solid foundation, right? We have akua, we have all of our kupuna. And so that is the modern interpretation of vai vai. And the fact that people spend their whole lives chasing fiat currency, this literal piece of it's not quite paper, but whatever it might be, they're chasing that their whole life to what? To take that and turn it into food when you can just grow the food.
Yeah.
Why is that important? And so while there are amazing friends that I have that are really into that realm of just trying to chase that money, because they feel like that's the thing they have to leave for their kids, right? That's the inheritance they want to leave. I told my daughter the other night because we was pulling guinea grass out of the field and she was sickling the guinea grass and she's like all bust up. She's like, Dad, how come we always have to do this? And I said, if I can leave you one thing, I said, I guarantee I won't be leaving you money, but if I can leave you one thing, it'll be the gift of knowing how to work hard. I said, with that, you can do anything, right? With humility, respect, and hard work, you can get way farther in this life than anything else, including if I gave you a fat inheritance, of money. And so I'm trying to make sure that our whole community, and we have circles that do this already, that we're getting away from U.S. fiat currency, and we're getting away from that entire monetary system and going back. We call it going back, but it's really, to me, it's progression. Going back to the ways our kupuna did it, where I'm growing food. If you're a Levi'a, you're a fisherman, then we're best friends. Like all of my best friends are not necessarily kalo farmers; they're all Levi'a, because I have kalo, and they need poi, and I need fish, and so, and what's interesting is that our economy that we function off of, like it was anciently, is when I have an abundance, I share, and when they have an abundance, they share, and you're always trying to share your best and the most. That's part of our culture, and so I've never kept a tally of how many pounds kalo I've given them and how much fish they. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
When I get, you get, and when you get, I know I'm gonna get.
How we get too much people in this world now that's, oh, remember I would help you with this,
Yeah.
right? Like they'll remind you.
Strings attached to everything.
Yeah, and yeah.
But that's not mana Hawaii. That's what money does to people. Yeah.
That's why, like I've said time and time. I was watching Steve Harvey one time, and he said, money doesn't change people. It just gives you the opportunity to be who you truly are. So if you are that person, that money will just exaggerate it to the fullest effect, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a bad person, like I shouldn't say bad person, but if you're another person, it's gonna, like.
Do you think money could? I don't know if that's necessarily a true statement. Do you think money can change you into a person you didn't want to be?
I think so. I guess so, because like for me, money scares me. Like money, so like like for example, when our company will make money, probably give it away.
Yeah.
It scares me because maybe you're right. Maybe it will change. You know what I mean? The person. So like that's why we're doing like a $3,000. We're doing scholarships and all kinds of stuff now.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'm like, oh, we have it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So like even my kids, like I told all my kids straight up, like I'm not leaving anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm gonna have anything anyway at the end. But if I do, I'm not leaving anything. I'm gonna give it away. I don't know what. Like we're gonna do something, but like they know up front. So it's not like I'm gonna get an inheritance. And I'm not saying people that get an inheritance are like that. I'm just, you know what I mean? But for me personally, I guess you are right. Like how, I guess money can change you because I'm scared of it.
Yeah.
Like, because I know people that hoard money, that like they just make more and more of it, but they don't spend it, they don't give it away.
Yeah.
That I don't, if it's like an addiction to them, I don't know. Like that's the kind of people that's constantly checking their bank account. Oh, how much do they have? How much do they have? Right?
What a life.
Stressful, I guess.
I could never imagine that what purpose do you have? But more importantly, all right, on a practical level, we're all acting as if this current system is going to continue forever. And the reality is, one simple thing as a strike in California on the docks, or one simple thing as a natural disaster could happen, and the food stops coming across on the ships. They say about 90 to 95% of our food stops coming over. How do you eat that money? Will that money be of value to everyone else? And my answer is, I don't think it will be. So here's some proof, some evidence of that. Okay, COVID-19 hits 2019, ending of 2019 into 2020, 2021 even, and during that time, we were kind of just like the lowly mahi'ai before that, like mahi'ai, like people who cultivate food. And when that hit, my phone was blowing up. Not just mine, all of the workers that I work with, right? All the people who put time into Aina were getting the same calls. Hey, do you guys have seed? Do you guys have huli? Do you guys have these amendments? Do you guys, what do you guys have? And so luckily we had storages of seeds. My coworker especially, she had seeds all in her freezer, all in these dry packs. And she gave it all away. And people were growing gardens. People were growing food for the first time. Maybe they were scared of going to the store. Maybe there just wasn't much stuff in the store, whatever it might have been. But all of a sudden, the mahi'ai became the most important people again, like they were anciently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anciently, even modernly, we talk about the ali'i all the time, which is great because almost all of us descend from them. But the ali'i aren't ali'i without the mahi'ai. They're not ali'i. They cannot feed themselves or their people without the people that grow the food. And so mahi'ai were raised to a very high level, right? They were like a big deal. And why is it that only in times of crisis that we go back to that? Why can't that be always? Why can't we live in a state of abundance rather than in a state of scarcity, right? We're at the point right now where no one can afford food. No one can afford food. People are hungry everywhere. And so why can't we all go back to growing food, live in a state of abundance. You know, people say, I'm a slave to the 9 to 5, I'm a slave to work. No, you're not. You're actually a slave to food. You're working so you can get food. I mean, pay your mortgage, your car bill, all of that stuff, but food especially. Mm-hmm. You're a slave to food. So what if you can't change that? Because you can't build a car, right? You can't grow a money tree, right, and produce fiat currency, but you can grow food and eliminate that entirely from one of your worries. So why
your
wouldn't
biggest
you do
worry.
that? Yeah.
Your biggest worry.
People say, well, I don't have a big piece of land. Don't matter. You don't need much. Or I live in an apartment in Honolulu. There are some amazing garden apartments in buckets, things like that. People are growing at least some food to subsidize. Now, I don't expect you to be growing like 85, 90% of your food necessarily right now. In the future, that'd be awesome. Hawaii Island can do that. We have land here. Oahu, a little bit tougher, but why are we not doing that?
When was the last time you drove by Wahiawa?
Actually, recently, I just did a wedding in Mokuleia.
So did you see all the mini farms next to the freeway? By Hickam Air Force Base on the freeway?
I don't know if I went that way.
Okay, so next time, go that way.
Is that through Wahiawa town?
So it's going to Mililani, leaving Wahiawa on the freeway. Not the back road, but on the freeway part.
Oh, okay. I don't think I saw that.
Okay, so next time, just take one drive that way and look on the side of the freeway. So somebody bought like a huge plot of land between the freeway and the Air Force Base.
Okay.
And this plot of land, you would think is just like, for what? Like,
Yeah.
it's in a super awkward spot. Like, business wise, it's not really a good spot to build anything.
No.
Somebody came up with the genius idea of they actually made small parcels, and each parcel is a farm. Like, people are growing their own food, and it's like 100 of them. I seen it and I was like, oh, how awesome is that? Like you said, you don't need that much space.
No, it doesn't take much.
And even that, all of them are working with each other.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you, they're not growing the same things.
Yeah.
Like, one person's growing this. Oh, we good. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
got some of this. You get a trade like that,
That's
and they're
all.
okay with it, right? Like, I don't know if they're making a living with that farm. I don't know, but I just seen it,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh wow, like that's so awesome for someone to think of that, because when you pass by Kapolei, I remember growing up, what is that, Alun Farms? Like, that whole place was a farm.
Yeah.
And now,
They're developing it, yeah.
bro, it's all houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, growing up on Oahu, I never thought like I would think like, oh, that's fine, like that's normal, like I guess that's, people need a place to live, right? But then now that I live here, it's kind of heartbreaking to see that, because I'm like, oh man, like they're missing out on that aspect. Like, yeah, you have all these people, well, what you gonna do if the boats stop coming?
Yeah.
Like, all this farmland, and I don't know if it was just I don't know the term, but unfarmable anymore. I don't know how the land was. Like, I don't know any of that, but just the fact that I do know that even if it was unfarmable, there's still other uses for it.
Yeah.
So
I have a hoa who grows kalo in that area, and very close to Sunita Farm, and the kalo thrives there. It was all lo'i. It still is lo'i, but it's lo'i watercress instead of lo'i kalo. Right?
Yeah.
And so now that's amazing. Watercress is amazing, but kalo is the ultimate sustenance that we could be growing. They're doing that's awesome. I'm really happy for them. But imagine if that was all kalo. How much more people could we feed, right? Kalo goes from this hard, starchy substance, and you give it a quick processing called ku'i, right? And you're breaking some of the starches down, and you're adding a little tiny bit of vai or water, and now you're stretching it like way farther than it was, right? One kalo could fill this entire bowl with poi. Once the water is ovali, once you put the vai in, and that gives you almost the entirety of what you need to sustain life. And so, yeah, I think that's great, but it's still amazing. It's like a little kipuka. It like gives you a vision of what could be. What used to be.
Yeah.
In the middle of this urban town.
environment.
Yeah. But you talked about this concept of making a living. Yeah. And so my argument is that growing food is the living. Mm-hmm. It is making a living. So I've been very lucky enough in my life to never have had to combine my passion with making money. So I've never sold food in my life. I've never sold food. Never sold kalo. I've never sold anything, a plant or anything. I was always raised with the idea that if people are hungry, you give. And so as long as there's one person hungry in Hawaii, I'm never going to sell my food. I actually wouldn't, because what I've seen is that as soon as people start adding money and selling their passions for money, they lose that passion really quick. And Halo is my older brother, right? Genealogically, I come from Halo on multiple lines. How in the world could I sell my older brother? And I'm not hating on people who do sell poi and sell kalo. I'm not hating on them at all. Like, do whatever your na'au drives you to. But my na'au turns when I think about selling food. I couldn't do it. And so I never have been able to do it. And people say, well, how do you live? Well, it makes it back. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I can turn one bag, 50-pound bag of kalo into, it can fill my fridge. Because I'll drop a few kalo off to this auntie on the way home, and she's giving me like this grocery bag full of stuff, and then I drop another kalo off to another uncle, and he's giving me all this dried opelu he made, and I'm dropping it off to another uncle, and he just had mango season, cause we score. Drop some other kalo off to this guy, cause lychee, it's going down, hilo side. And so, before you know it, my freezer and my fridge and my counters are all piha, they're all full from one bag of kalo. If I sold that bag of kalo for, even if I was selling it for something crazy, which is not, it's like $3 something a pound, which for organic kalo is so expensive. I mean, so cheap right now in its hard form, but poi is expensive. But if I were to do that, the money that I would get for that would not buy everything that I have on my counter in my fridge. From not trading, but gifting. And I'm not gifting expecting anything back either. I'm just, I harvest kalo, can you take some, So I don't know, like, I would argue that it's more profitable, if you want to put it into a monetary sense, to live like our kupuna did. It's more profitable, especially with the price of food right now. I don't know, that's just me, but.
I had to take Ezra to, he went on a field trip today, and I completely forgot to make him home lunch. So I was like, okay, I'll just stop by the store and just grab you something on the way. So I went in, I grabbed a peanut butter jelly sandwich, because you can leave that out.
Yep.
And then I grabbed 2 musubis and a bag of chips. That's it. And a small bag of chips, bro.
Yep.
$34.
Oh, nah.
$34, bro, for 2 musubis, a peanut butter jelly sandwich, and a small bag of chips. I even told the lady, I was like, $34. She goes, I know it's expensive. I said, that's ridiculous. That's past expensive. That's not even a little bit. Like, that's ridiculous. But like, huh? I wasn't trying to give her a hard time.
So what if you have to feed 4 kids?
Oh, cannot. And so like, I was just thinking about that on the way here, and I was like, oh man, $34 for that. It's like, and it's no wonder people will abuse the system for EBT and for that, right? Yeah. And the thing is with EBT is, I mean, that's a whole nother subject, but in my opinion, and I understand EBT, and I understand people
that's
need
it.
That's
the food stamp thing.
Yeah. And I understand the idea of it, which is great, but I don't understand is when I see them at the store and they have a grocery cart filled of like cereal, soda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would have zero issue if my taxpayer money was going to it if you could only buy like whole foods, like meat, vegetables, maybe milk.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like, you never really see. I'm not saying like everybody has EBT, but like you only see like the processed stuff.
Yeah.
Right? It's easiest way. You just buy it and then go. And
my question is, why are we not questioning the entire system as a whole? Like, why are we paying the taxes we're paying? We see the abuse that's going on, right? Especially in Hawaii locally, with what is done with taxpayer money. I mean, if you want some evidence, look at the thing they call the rail in Honolulu. That's one example. There's many examples. But in addition to that, we're living in a fantasy in an occupied Hawaii by America, and we're paying a foreign nation taxes for them occupying our space. So again, like to me, that's the foreign mana'o. That's the mana'o haole. Is like, why are we doing that? So I worked my whole life to use currency to buy a piece of aina back that my family previously owned and dwelt in. Owned is a relative term, they didn't own it, but they dwelt in it, they malama, right? That was kuleana. So I worked my whole life to buy it back. We finally get it back. And then this little thing comes in the mail from the county that says I owe $2,000 for 6 months of dwelling on this small parcel. $2,000. Wait, I just bought that land. But now I have to pay the state or whoever it is rent the rest of my life. So I don't agree with that system as a whole in general, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is that because I'm kuya, like I resist all things. I have this thing in me that's like, Kekanaka, however you can get it back from Uncle Sam, get it. They've taken so much from your ohana. They're taking $2,000 from a property I already bought. If I can figure out a way to get it back, I'm gonna sign up for that.
100.
And I feel bad for people in America who are paying taxes to support things like that, but we gotta get it back somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I think of it as the Robin Hood method, yeah? It's taking from the rich and giving back to the poor. That's why I'm in a nonprofit business, right? I go to the federal government, I go to the state, I mine all the money I can, they call it grants, and I bring it back to Hawaii and we do good with it. It's a way to take money from the so-called rich and bringing it back and feeding people who need to be fed. So I don't know, like I agree, yeah, better choices should be made in terms of purchasing.
Yeah.
But in terms of the concept as a whole, I'm like, oh God, get it where you can. Like, I don't know.
Oh.
I know that's maybe not the right thought, but that's the way I feel inside. Like,
No, I'm right there with you because so with dealing with a business and all of this, believe it or not, just my personal experience, the IRS is way easier to deal with than the state.
yeah,
Like this, Hawaii, bro, is ruthless,
Yeah.
dude. When it comes to collecting money, they are ruthless. Like
Yeah.
they don't care. And I'm not saying like that's the people, that's like the system, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how what was created and the politics and everything like that. So I have this instance where I was told not to pay this tax.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I shouldn't have listened to this person. That was like, but it was still my choice at the end, right? And so we had moved here and I guess they were sending the letters to my old address. I don't live there anymore. Okay?
oh,
4 years had passed.
just building
And
up.
we got a letter over here saying we owe X amount. It was double because of penalties and interest. Of course, I didn't have the first because they're like, okay, we won't charge you double if you pay this amount right now. So
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money right now. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. So they're like, okay, we'll set up a payment plan. It's ridiculous. It's like paying off a credit card because
Yeah.
the interest is a lot. Okay. And I said, okay, I didn't have a choice. Like I didn't have a choice. I said, okay, I'll do that. And about a year later, I had saved up enough money to pay that first amount. So we
Yeah.
called them out and say, hey, we have the money now. They won't take it because I had agreed to paying off the full sum at a higher interest. I said, no. I saved.
They are a bank.
I saved. I have the money now to pay the taxes that I didn't pay.
Yeah.
And they would not like accept it, like not even a penny of it. And I was like, bruh, you guys, and that's just one instance. Like that's
Yeah.
dealing with the IRS. Oh, no problem. Like yeah, just send it, and But I don't really have a bunch of issues with taxes. It's just with dealing with that, the state is the one that was like, bruh, like super ridiculous.
I don't have an issue with taxes either, to a degree. I feel like it's gone past that degree of what I can tolerate in terms of taxes. Like I'm grateful to drive on highways that they
Mhm.
maintain. And Moko County, this island, they do a great job maintaining highways, right? They're mowing the sides, they used to spray, they're not so much anymore, they're kind of just mowing it more, which is we're mahalo for. So I'm grateful for that. If there's a pothole, they fix it, I'm grateful for that. What I don't agree with is the overtaxation, meaning unreasonable taxes that are being put upon us. And so here's the thing, right? Anciently, if a leader was acting like that, there were specific altars and heiau built for sacrificing those leaders on, right? Like the people had the power to remove them literally, right? Sometimes from the earth, but sometimes not. Just remove them from that power. And so there's a high level of accountability from an elite, high level, right? And that's to the point where there's a couple now, you can't stand behind an elite because he's worried, behind his back. And so there's such a low level of accountability now in all the leadership in the fake state of Hawaii that they get away with whatever they want to.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. But we can get off politics, 'cause I don't want to spoil the ava. Yeah.
Yeah, getting off politics and thinking of everything as a whole, right? Who you are as a person, like you said, you know who you are, so there's no questioning that. And your family and everything like that. What are you most worried about losing in your life?
Good question. I think for me, aside from my family, that I mean, I have a more zoomed out perspective, and I know that I'll be able to be with my ohana. So I'm not. I mean, I am concerned about that. That would be terrible, right? You don't wish it upon anybody. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've lost family that are close to me and young. But that's not the thing that I worry most about, or even have a fear of necessarily. I fear losing aloha. I fear Hawaii that doesn't know what aloha actually is, right? That term's kind of like overused, especially in the tourism industry. People giving orchid lays at the airport, aloha, right? No, I'm not talking about that aloha. I'm talking about aloha in the deepest sense of its meaning. So aloha, if you look it up, there's like, it encompasses like 50, I don't know, like a bunch of English words. I actually don't know how many, but a lot. There's a lot of words, including like charity, love, all of these, passion, compassion, all of these things. But one of the best definitions of aloha is actually the fact that it's a verb in our language. So aloha is a verb, which means that it's an action. You have to take action to show aloha, right? So if I have aloha for you, I can say it all I want, but then when you call me, you say, hey, brother, do you mind if you can help me do this because I'm there, right? That's aloha, because it's action, right? Or if something's going on in your life, right? Aloha is taking the action to pule for you, taking the action to go make you food, right? Or whatever it might be. That's aloha. Aloha is an actual verb. We can say it all we want. So my worry is that what makes us unique to the world? I believe it's aloha in the way that we understand it, right? We talked about this recently. Here's what aloha doesn't look like. This is one of the examples. Aloha. So when I go to America, I've gone to potlucks in America. This is like the simplest way I can explain it. This is an issue I have.
America, you mean by mainland?
Not my mainland, but yes, some people's mainland. But the continent, right?
Yeah,
the American continent, but not even the northern or the southern, that middle section, the United States of America. When I go there, I go to potlucks, and have you ever been to a potluck on the continent?
Yeah. So I know exactly what you're about to say.
Bah, straight chips and like little sandwiches and cookies. Yeah. You go to a potluck here, like even at church when we have potluck. Bah, the fat spread. I wasn't there last week, but I heard you guys had a major potluck.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about, is like we show our aloha in different ways by actually showing aloha. Not giving the minimum, not bringing the minimum, not saying, oh, I don't like to spend money, so I'm going to bring one box of cookies. Like, no. We go all out. Because we show aloha through food is just one way, but it's the action. So the bulk of the people that brought food to the potluck are not wealthy financially, but they bring their best. And that's what I love about our people, is we always give our best. When I harvest kalo, I've never eaten my biggest kalo. I've never. And my wife always tells me, how come we always got to peel a small kalo? You always bring back the small kalo. I say, bah, I give away all the big ones. And I find so much joy in ono and eating that small and knowing that the biggest and someone called the best, I don't know if it's the best, but was given away. And that's what I'm worried about losing, is Hawaii being diluted to the point where true aloha, I'm not talking about using aloha in a justified way of someone who's calling you out on something. Oh, where's the aloha? Like, no, that's not aloha, right? If you're being called out on something in a righteous way because you you did something wrong, that's aloha, right? If I actually care about you, I'm gonna call you out on what you did that was wrong, that was not okay for everybody, right? Like even scolding the kids in the potluck line that are jumping in front of the kupuna, right? I know one of our friends did that this past time. He scolded the kids because they went and cut in front of the kupuna. That's not aloha. So scolding them is aloha, saying, hey, get to the back of the line. Don't jump in front of the kupuna. I think we have misconstrued and stretched aloha to mean things that it doesn't mean, and we've lost the true meaning of it. And so, if Hawaii loses aloha, my argument is that Hawaii is not Hawaii. Hawaii might as well be California, right? Might as well be anywhere else in the world, but it's not Hawaii anymore. It's the one thing that makes us us. Now, I'm not saying that other countries, nations, peoples, ethnicities don't have love and charity and all those things. But when we say aloha, it's those 30 to 50, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how many words plus in English language, plus a whole bunch of other things that it encompasses. And when I say aloha, I'm meaning all of that. I'm not singling it out to one word or one, it's an all-encompassing feeling to the depths of my soul. I care about you, whatever it takes to, we're gonna make it work. And so I'm worried about losing that kind of aloha. Because if that day ever comes, I don't want to live here. It hasn't come, and I don't think it will come. That's just something I think about.
I shouldn't say it's here already, but there is some areas of Hawaii that has lost its identity.
Yeah.
And the number one enemy to that, what I think, is actually social media.
Yeah.
Because people look at social media and they'll see it and they'll take it at face value without even looking deeper into it, because they're like, oh, he said it. Like, okay, but is that even true what he said? Like, oh no, yeah, because he's a cool guy, good guy. So part of that, like what you said, right, calling someone out on something, and you don't mean like calling out in a literal sense, but like, hey, like what you did, like, hey, what were you thinking?
Accountability.
Yeah, like accountability. Because a lot of times the people that you love, they would normally do that. So it'd be to the point like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? Like, you know what I mean? It'd be that kind of call out, like, is there something going on or whatever? And so when it comes, what was I about to say? When it comes to that kind of, I guess, direction, I completely blanked out on what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say was really, really good.
Shucks. Now I feel like I'm missing out.
No, it was really, really good. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. Were you getting my attention?
No.
No. This is what I was gonna say. So with that being said, right, I have learned, not only in my adult life, but just in the last few years I've been here, there is a huge difference from, that guy is a good guy, and that guy's a solid guy.
Yeah.
Like, I've learned that, especially here. Like, a good guy isn't going to hold that accountability.
Yeah.
You can be a good guy. Like, hey, no issues. Hey, good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But a solid guy, you're not going to be happy with him all the time. But that's okay. You're not meant to be in a good space 24/7.
Yeah.
It's the bad spaces that you actually grow your relationship and how people react.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, it's a solid guy. Like, I just had an incident recently that... We shouldn't put this on camera, but
Don't say names.
he'll know.
Sorry, let me. I'll mark it. But
No,
you go ahead.
But he blew up for no apparent reason,
Yeah.
and he instantly dropped down to here
Yeah.
in my people list.
Yeah.
And I'm not being judgmental, but I instantly okay. I thought you were one solid guy, but
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
I realized that
But even solid guys have days.
Yeah, but it was kind of the last straw for me. Things are adding up to it. Okay, no, maybe
You feel it
this
and you're
is
not
how.
out. That feels kind of.
Yeah, and so I actually thank people for that. I thank you. Now I know.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know. Now I know where we're at, right? Which is not an issue. Now you know you're not going to waste any more time.
Yeah.
And I always think back, it's funny as I'll talk to people and ancient times. And I'll tell them, I don't know that much knowledge about it. I know, just the basic knowledge of it. And I don't even like to call it ancient times. Because I'll tell them, it actually wasn't that long ago if you think about it.
Yeah.
So I'll tell them, you shouldn't call it ancient times, because the reality of it is only 3 or 4 generations ago.
Yeah.
And that's not that long ago.
Yeah.
That was right around the
A
corner.
lot's changed, yeah.
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 But people like you and other people that I shouldn't say advocate, but live that way for people to follow. That's what will make a difference. What are you looking forward to the most for this next generation, just in general?
So, one thing that I get to do often is host school students from kindergarten all the way up through high school, even into university level students, to our aina, and there is such a desire. I mean, when you think about it, like back in like even just in the early '90s, when like the sugarcane was functioning, everything, all the sugarcane plantation guys were raising their kids to not grow food, right? They're all like, don't do that, bro. Go do something else. Go work in the office. There is a returning in mass to the land from the rising generation. There's a returning in mass, and it's not because it's trendy, some of it is, but a lot of it is because they're actually being called back. So what excites me most is that we will have people who are growing food. So like one thing that I do is I hold a collection of kalo varieties and other varieties, and I collect all the varieties of everything. That's one of my obsessions. And I've had many nights where I've just like tossed and turned, wondering like, who's gonna take on this kuleana? Like if I go, there are people of my generation and a few above that are malama collections that like that of all of our kupuna crops. I mean, some of these varieties took 7-8 generations to create, and they're for a specific location to thrive there to feed that people. I'm waiting for the day where, and it's coming, it's kind of here, where people are like, ooh, what will sustain me best on my land? They come to me, they get that variety, they bring it back, right? They grow it. But we have large collections, hundreds of kalo, and each one is for a specific location. And finally, I used to have to beg people when I harvested kalo, can you please take huli? Like, can you just take 4 or 5? Like, oh, no,
Now you
I'm
got wait
good.
lists.
Now there is.
Yeah, now you got wait lists.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you saw some of the events we do where we harvest and hundreds of people, and there's such a desire. And so that's what makes me excited, is like, wow, people are into it finally. Some of my kumus, like Uncle Jerry, Kononui, Auntie Penny Levin, Uncle Kavika Escaron, Uncle Kabawa Ewaka, all of these kumus that I've had and more throughout my life have been like hoping and wishing to be in the time that we are in now, to be in the time where people are begging for huli, begging to come to these events that we have where they can get kalo and varieties, and so that's what excites me the most. What's interesting on the contrast, because I want to go back to the positive, but focusing on some of the barriers to that, by far, it is social media. When we see some of the rising generation, not all, but some of them, identifying with things that they see on social media to the point where they're talking like these people they see, they're acting like the people like they see, they're thinking like the people they see. That they're not from Hawaii, they're not Hawaiian, they don't practice what we practice, and not to say that you have to be doing what I'm doing, but it is a dangerous place to be when you're allowing social media to raise your child rather than the parent raising the child. So here's an example, okay? I have people in my own ohana that I won't call out, but that are like this, where the kids are being loud. We're all sitting at dinner. The kids are being loud, so they say, here. They give them an iPad or a phone, and they say, go watch a movie, so we can talk story. Now that iPad's raising that kid, right? Where that kid could have just been there, been loud. That's part of being an ohana, right? We can talk over the kids, no big deal. When we're doing ceremony, right? The kids are being loud in the ceremony. Some kupuna are like, get that kid out of there. They're being too loud. So then they sit them down with an iPad when they should be in the ceremony, whether they're being loud or not, because that's the feelings that they should be getting familiar with. So, part of our kuleana as parents is to raise our kids. Don't let the digital media raise them. It's a lot harder. It's a lot of work, but you got to do it, because if you let social media raise your child, we will be have a crisis of youth in the next, few years to 10 years, of kids that don't act like us. They will be acting like what they see on social media. That's dangerous to me. So, but that's one of the main barriers. That and video games, main barriers, and parents who are more absent or focused on career above child. So, Other than that, though, celebrating the successes. But there's amazing kids, especially on this island, because that's what I'm familiar with. We host all the schools from this island, and wow, there's some superstars. Like, talk about the shining stars. Like, there are kids that, wow, they was born to do this, you know, and they're way beyond where I was when I was their age. When I was their age, especially when we're hosting these high school kids, like, they're super into all of this. I was thinking about very different things when I was that age. So it makes me really excited that we have people who are not only going to take on what we're doing, but they're going to excel. They're going to keep going, and so that's the fun part. But yeah, to me, that excites me. That's what gets me up. I'm like, oh, bro, I cannot wait to teach this group today, or to share with them, because in return, I'm learning more than I'm teaching, like way more. So yeah.
The great thing is like you said, teaching or thinking like us. You actually, what they don't understand, and I never understood it. Like, I would hear it all the time. No, I want you to be better than I am.
Yeah.
So when you have those superstars, right, that are meant to do it,
Yeah.
which actually makes you better.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, how do I give them, you know, pretty much the pass? Like, because at some point they'll surpass, you know, all of us, right? You want that. Like, I want that. Like, even when it comes to jiu-jitsu, like, my oldest kid, like, I would love for him to submit me one day, because then I'm like, oh, you actually did it. You know what I mean? You actually did it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, your pride will be hurt a little bit.
that's fine though.
Yeah.
But as
It's all
a
good
father,
overall.
you'd be like, oh, yes, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that's why, I guess, when it, in turn, they will actually be the ones on social media
Yeah.
pushing, you know, what they think. And you got people like me that's like, oh, look, this guy, you know what I mean? And then you just connect the dots.
Yeah.
Like, I follow T-Man on
Yeah.
Instagram or Facebook, one of those two. And I guess he was in New Zealand very recently.
Yeah, with Kaimi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he posted that he actually ended up bumping into someone that actually worked with you.
Oh, from Germany.
From Germany, somewhere.
Yeah,
Like,
she's a good friend from Germany.
It was a girl, yeah. lady.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was thinking, like, how awesome that is to, like, connect that dot.
What a small world. I know, I couldn't believe it.
It's like out of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and you wouldn't have been able to do that.
No. So, yeah, another thing that excites me about this generation is they're very comfortable with blending modernity, like technology, with kahiko, like the ways of old, and so they're really comfortable with that. Like, I'm so anti-technology that, like, I mean, we don't even have a TV in my house. Like, we don't have any. You give me a DVD to watch. We don't have a DVD player. I'm like, I don't know how to watch that. We don't do the streaming into the videos. We just don't. Our kids play outside until it's night and they come in and they go to bed. We live really in the old ways where we're completely off the grid, and so I reject with a passion anything of technology, but that's not the best way to live right now. And I know that, but that's just who I am. Like, I'm trying my hardest to not give in. Like, this whole robot technology, the robots in your phone that people give names to. I'm like, what? Like, they're calling the phone Alexa or like Siri and stuff like that. Like, but don't give the robot a name. Like, you know, when I was younger, I watched this movie called I, Robot. Yeah.
yeah.
With Will Smith. I freaked out, bro. I freaked out. I was like, because I hate robots from then on. And so I get people still to this day that are in our other crew that are like, oh, bro, you gotta get these goggles. You can see one whole new world, and, like, you know, you can be teaching kids how to grow kalo from the goggles. What is that goggles? You know,
the Oculus, the virtual VR.
And I was like,
virtual reality.
Bah. He's like, oh, you can do so much good with that. I was like, bah, I do so much good without that. Like, my thing is, if I have to teach a kid how to grow kalo through the goggles, maybe they're not supposed to learn how to grow kalo. But when you come to my aina, and I will teach you hands-on, because there's no way to truly know. It says, so if you read the old Olelo no Eaos, right, they say makahana ka ike, which is in the work is the knowledge, not maka goggles ka knowledge, right? It's not, the knowledge isn't in the goggles, it's in the doing, it's in the touching, it's in the breathing in that lepo, it's in the feeling the makani come, that ua come down, the rain, it's in the planting, it's in these motions that we're doing. That's where knowledge comes from, not from the goggles. And so I don't know, I am opposed to it but the new generation will find a healthier way to balance that, and I'm excited for that. Yeah, but I cannot do that. So
I've been on thousands of different job sites, construction sites, and whatever. You know how you just said like the work is in like working with your hands, pretty much. Out of all the people that I've had to meet and the different races and stuff, but Hawaiians are hard workers. Just naturally, like they're very, very hard workers. Like without even them even realizing it, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't even, and that's the thing. Like they don't even know, like how hard they're working compared to other people, because it's like in them, right? They naturally like, oh, I gotta get this done. You know, I gotta build this or whatever, and that's interesting that you say that, because when they mesh it together, okay, at some point they're gonna realize that they were actually meant to do that.
yeah,
Because somebody has to, and you actually want the right people doing it, because there's a lot of wrong things that can happen in that process. So when you have these people that work so hard and cherish what they've learned, and they're able to kind of gel them together, that's actually very exciting. Because like even with the Oculus, because I saw somebody, they did a work, and with the Oculus, because you can kind of see through it and you can edit. So imagine like you're looking at your farm, the Cabo patch. You can actually mark with the Oculus what each brand, what each variety is, and how far apart are they, and how it's set up, right, and all that stuff. The new generation can do that now, and put it all into one. So someone can sit there and watch, like, oh, this is how you do it.
You want to know something interesting? Is with these goggles that Akua gave me, I can do the same thing.
Yeah.
So what if we just train our kids to do that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, yeah, I see that there might be benefits, but I know it's a pride thing too. I just don't want to. But bro, I'm so anti all of that, because I don't know why. Actually, I can't say why, but I just feel like it's not right.
You know why you probably don't feel like it's not right is because you guys probably, I shouldn't say you guys, we probably had way more knowledge of the outside world back then than we do now.
Yeah.
Because back then, when I mean, I shouldn't say ancient times, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, because they would bring all that knowledge back and teach it the right way, rather than us trying to just learn it on our own, like through YouTube and stuff like that. There's pros and cons to everything. But I was just thinking that the other day, because I was we were watching YouTube, and me and Tristan and Ezra was watching, somebody was on the Canary Islands looking at the stars. As you know, that's where they're trying to build the telescope if they cannot build it here, right? And so I was like, oh, let me look into this, like, why not, right? Why is it so secret? And I was watching how they were and how they are, and I was realizing, like, wow, they're not that much different than Hawaiians, like how they were. But the thing is, if this was like way back when, they would already know that. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be like a guessing thing, like, oh, just build it over there kind of thing. Because that's kind of how some people here are, like, oh, don't build it over here, just build it over there, right? But they don't even realize, like, bro, they're just like us. So if it was back then, they would automatically be like, no, you're not building it here, and you're not going to build this anywhere. You know what I mean? So and there was no technology back then.
I know. I'm excited for the person to come who can do it healthily, because my pride gets in the way. I don't want to convert to technology in any form or way. And so someone might come and be able to do it. It won't be me, but I'm excited for that potential in the future.